Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So just over a week ago, Jeep teased us with an image and a short video about the upcoming 2026 Grand Wagoneer. Now, this vehicle is not an all-new vehicle. This is a refresh, or what the industry calls a mid-cycle action, or MCA. So, again, we're not getting an all-new vehicle. We're getting something that's updated, but this shows a lot of promise. So basically what Jeep CEO Bob Bordendorf did was he kind of released this teaser image, and we were at a media event for another vehicle that's coming out, and what they were telling us is he basically wanted to tell us that this vehicle was going to be ready for production by the end of the year. It's going to be hitting dealers very, very soon by the end of the year in fourth quarter is what he said.
This thing will blow customers away with more power, more tech, new style, and more value. And it will proudly wear the Jeep badge. Later this fall, I'll be back to tell you about a new attitude for the Grand Wagoneer.
Now, this image was the only image they gave us, and if you look close enough, you can kind of tell where this vehicle's going. Again, this is a Grand Wagoneer. It shows a lot of styling elements from the Wagoneer S, and again, this image kind of looks doctored up. It's photoshopped and that, but if you look at the fender, we can see that there's a charge port door, and there's 8 lug axles. So that right there, knowing what we know, the Ram 1500 Ramcharger, which is a range-extending vehicle that's due to come out, shares those same elements, and they share the same platform. So what we know is that this is more than likely the 2026 Jeep Grand Wagoneer 4xe that we've seen testing, in several Spied images and that, but this will have the same powertrain as the Ramcharger. And according to our sources, this will also carry the 4xe nameplate. So again, now that we kind of know that the 4xe is coming and it's going to make its official debut soon, Bob Bordendorf basically told us, like, hey, this is going to be the first vehicle to launch. The Wagoneer will be coming after. And he didn't say anything really big about the Wagoneer. All he told us was that he has some big plans for the Wagoneer coming later. So with that being said, in the recent days, we've been getting a lot of images from our readers. And our readers have actually done a really good job at sending me a whole bunch of new images of the new Wagoneer, almost completely uncamouflaged, and some that were completely uncamouflaged. So if you go over to Mopar Insiders, just as this video is going live, you'll see this article here about the 2026 Jeep Wagoneer Spied with uncamouflaged face. So here it is. It looks very similar to the Grand Wagoneer, however, it's a little different. The headlamps are just a tad bit different, and we can see that the actual, what they would be as fog lights or whatever, kind of don't light up like the other ones, but they do have this really nice ornate tooling to them. Again, the top grille is a dummy grille. We can tell that by these new images here. For sure, there's no actual cooling above. Everything is going to come down to cooling from down below. And again, this one doesn't have a charge port door, so this means that it's the twin-turbo 3-liter inline-6 Hurricane model with 420 horsepower. So that right there shows that, not only will there be electrified models, but there'll be gas as well. Now, we haven't heard anything on the Hemi just yet. Bob did say that Hemi projects were in the works, but for them to get the Hemi back into the Wagoneer, it's going to take a little bit of time, specifically because they have to go through, recertification, validation, and all this stuff, because the Hemi's been out of production in the Wagoneer for a certain amount of time. So probably in the next 15 months or so, we might see a Wagoneer with a Hemi in it. But anyways, what's really different about this vehicle is that it's not a Wagoneer sub-branded vehicle anymore. Instead, it will have the Jeep badge on the front actual hood. It will not be considered its own sub-brand. It's going to be part of the Jeep lineup. And what our sources have been telling us is that not only will it be badged as a Jeep, but even the trim models are going to get kind of like a redo. So basically, instead of having Series 1, Series 2, and Series 3, what they're going to do is they're going to actually give them trim names. So we're going to have like a Limited, an Overland, and even a Summit, according to what our sources have been saying. So again, it's going to have a fresh look on the outside. We've heard some really interesting things about the interior, but we haven't seen spy images of the interior just yet, so stay tuned for that. But again, you can kind of see the design of overall design is really put in focus on what the Wagoneer S has showed us. This particular model, this black one here, now if you look at the wheels, you're going to notice that those are the same wheels that made their debut last year on the 2025 Jeep Wagoneer Super. That was a limited edition model. It looks like this will carry the actual super trim will carry over till 2026. Again, it adds dark elements and it makes the vehicle look a little more sporty. So it looks like this will carry those elements over. And if you really know a lot about the modern day Stellantis products, you'll know that those wheels actually came from the 2019 Ram 1500 Laramie Sport, because I actually had that truck with those same exact wheels. But again, this is a more sporty version of the base Wagoneer. Now, what about the back styling of the vehicle? Well, that's where it gets pretty interesting, because a couple of our readers actually reached out to us. One posted some images on Reddit, and you can see that there's new details in the tail lamps. And what also we're seeing is it's also following the kind of styling elements that the Wagoneer S has on the rear. So yeah, the Wagoneer S is very sleek and it has that big spoiler on the back. However, the Grand Wagoneer is following with the same kind of LED light bar that goes all the way across the back of the vehicle. So now the Wagoneer will kind of mimic that with a piece of the LED tail lamps that actually connect each other across the back of the vehicle. So that's new for 2026. Everything else kind of looks the same. The taillights get more details to them, a little more to make them a little more stick out instead of just the red covers. And again, these are Wagoneer models, and both of the red and the white models that we're seeing here appear to be what would have been a Series 2 model with the all-terrain group. So again, it doesn't look like they're going to get rid of the packages. They're just going to rename them. So we don't know what this is going to be named yet. Maybe Overland. We don't know just yet. So stay tuned for that. But again, there's a lot of promise coming forward with some design elements that make this vehicle look a lot more upscale. And if we go back to that Super model, we can see just how detailed the tail lamps are. So again, not a whole lot of changes on the outside of the vehicle, but we do see some really bold design changes to really push the actual design of the Wagoneer a lot forward, make it look a lot more upscale, and that's some big promising features going forward. Again, don't know what the interior is going to be like just yet. We're hoping to see something very soon, especially with all these vehicles running around with no camouflage on them now, so hopefully we'll get some images of the interior and see what they're doing for updates. But again, we're supposed to see the Grand Wagoneer by the end of the year. So then the Wagoneer will follow. So hopefully either we get some spy images very soon of the interior, or we're able to get some images from Jeep with the unveiling of the Grand Wagoneer to kind of tell you what else is going on inside this vehicle. But nonetheless, some promising moves by Jeep. We're hearing that, they're being more aggressive on the pricing now for the Wagoneer, and especially the Grand Wagoneer. So again, those models, once we hear details, we'll be releasing that stuff as soon as possible. But tell me what you think of this new design kind of change for the Wagoneer. I mean, it's not a huge, drastic change other than the front end. But what do you think? Do you like the new Wagoneer S looks? Write your comments down below, and make sure to hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.